Stephen A. Smith, vocal yet hesitant supporter of Kamala Harris. What does he make of this outcome? The host of the Stephen A. Smith Show joins me now. Good to see you.
See you, my man.
Good to share this moment with you.
Yeah.
Surprise, of course, wound up losing by a little bit in a lot of places and a lot of demographics. Why to you?
Well, first of all, that's not how it looks to a lot of us. To you, somebody who's incredibly knowledgeable about this stuff, losing a little in a lot of different places. The way we look at it, we saw red all over the screen.
Spanked.
You need a Band-Aid, she got annihilated. That's how we look at it. I mean, she didn't win. We were predicting that the election was going to take days to decide, possibly into the weekend, and lo and behold, it took about 7 hours for us to learn, once the polls closed, that he was the president-elect of the United States. So that's what happened. And when you look at some of the issues, clearly not addressing the economy in a fashion that resonated, people talking about inflation, talking about their pockets, how you were going to address those things. I'm sure she attempted to articulate. I understood what message she was sending, but a lot of people weren't paying attention to it because, as I've said on many occasions, including sitting here with you, I know this much about minorities in this country. When it comes to black and brown folks in the United States of America, let me tell you something right now. We don't want to hear about percentages. We don't want to hear about, oh, inflation has dipped down to below 2% and all of that stuff. We're looking at the money in our pocket. How much does it cost to get gas? How much does it cost to buy groceries, to go out, eat dinner, et cetera, et cetera? How much money can we save? We look at that, and we were not impressed. Immigration was a huge, huge deal. For Biden to come out, and, you know, for him, day one, executive orders essentially opening the borders. For her to go on The View, which to me was a death knell. And speaking to Bill O'Reilly today, he had echoed that sentiment. They asked her, would she do anything different? And she said, not that I can think of. And when that happened, you just knew that she was in a world of trouble, because Trump knows how to utilize those things to his advantage. So it's about the economy. It's about immigration, and it's about the streets.
Those were both bad and on her watch.
That's right.
I mean, she had a tough task.
That's right.
Here, it's not just about her. It's that she wasn't able to overcome the challenge.
Absolutely. And she was put in a bad spot. I feel bad for her, because when you consider Joe Biden, and I know a lot of people were hesitant to get at him. She didn't want to throw him under the bus. But let's be real here. Let's be honest. He came into the presidency promising to be transitional, essentially a stopgap, okay? The next thing you know, they win the midterm elections. He's feeling himself, and suddenly he says, I'm not going anywhere, even though I'm going to be around 82.
That's where the party screwed up.
And that's where the party messed up. And so as a result, he ended up staying longer. He wasn't exposed to a primary. They greased the skids.
That was a big hindsight's easy.
That's right.
Hindsight's easy.
Right.
But in the moment, you knew that they had handicapped her, because they took away the democracy argument.
That's fair, but you could talk about hindsight is easy. But here's the reality, Chris. You and I were saying it long before the election. We were saying this is going to be a problem. And sure enough, it ended up being a problem. So all of those things being considered, in the end, it's sad that she went out this way. You would have liked to have seen a more competitive race. But America has spoken, and they have said they don't like what the left, particularly the progressives on the fringes of the left, have proposed to this country, and what the Biden administration capitulated to. And that had her name written all over it as well, and that is why she will not be the 47th president of the United States.
What do you make of seeing so many in the media saying, they're not saying it like this, but this is the way I hear it, dumb black men and Latino men got duped by Trump? I feel like that's you not understanding what just happened here.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to tell somebody like you what systemic racism is.
Right. Exactly. And I voted for her, but people that have those opinions, they can kick rocks. They've never understood a lot of things about black folks in the United States of America, or Latinos for that matter, and that's why they're on the outside looking in on this particular day, because they just don't get it. You know, the reality is that you have an abundance of people, a lot of women included, who are hurt and incredibly furious that the outcome is what it is, because they feel like the interest of the individual was put ahead of their interest. My response to that, sympathetically, with empathy, I would say, duh. What surprises you about that? People always put their own interest ahead of everybody else's when it comes to going to the polls.
Women. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.